I want to say something at the beginning of this gathering, which is not about us in a way, it's about the whole moment in which we are living. Two of the greatest thinkers of the modern world, Ibn Khaldun and Machiavelli, both identically said the same thing. They said, you must know the moment you're living in. You must know the moment you're living in. Sheikh Muhammad ibn Habib, my first sheikh, said to me, as far as I'm concerned, he said, the whole world is a hospital, and the shuyukh are the doctors. Now, I didn't understand what he meant, because I didn't know, I misread what I thought he meant by saying that the whole world was a hospital. I thought it was maybe a simple thing, like because we all have bad character and we are difficult, and somehow the sheikh is going to put it right for you. But he meant something much deeper than that. He meant that in one phrase of the Quran, man is in loss.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر.
Man is in loss. And he meant this loss was the sickness that had to be treated. Now, what is that loss? And how can we understand it, you see? Now, we find in the Quran a very important transmission of wisdom to us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he says, Allah taught Adam all the names.
وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها.
Say it again.
وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها.
Allah taught Adam, the first of mankind, all the names. Do you follow that? This meant that the human being knew the name of everything. Now, the sickness is when man doesn't know what the name of things is, or he's told a lie about what the thing is, and he believes a fiction about the thing. And then an illusory world begins to set in around him. And if then he thinks that the thing has power, that isn't there, he gets the idea that the thing has power, then he makes the fatal error on which all disaster comes, which is he thinks that the thing has power, and power belongs only to Allah. Power belongs to Allah, and nothing is associated with Him. Allah, nothing associated with Allah.
وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ جَمِيعًا.
Say it again.
وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ جَمِيعًا.
So if nothing is associated with Allah, and then you grant power, and don't return it to Allah, to a thing, then this is shirk. This is what shirk is. The mushrik is not the one worshipping some carved idol. That the original metaphor of what it is. But at any time that you imbue a thing with power, then you become hypnotized because you have another reality to the reality that Allah has created for Adam, in which he knew the name of everything. Now, the age in which we live presents us with a situation which has always presented me with a dilemma, because in trying to solve that dilemma, which is what is the matter with everybody? Why is everybody in some way sick, in a delusion about what is real? And for this, I entered Islam, and I entered Islam in order to be with the Sufis. But I knew I could not get to the Sufis except by the door of the Shariat. I knew that these pseudo-Sufis could not give us what was needed. But then I found something very dreadful, which I found that this thing that was gone wrong, although the Deen of Islam opened a way for me, the Muslims somehow had bought into shirk. Now, what is the shirk? The shirk is when you name something and say it is one thing and it's something else. Now, where does this happen in the modern world? It has happened with the whole system of every single exchange that every single person in this room and in this city and in this world now practices, which is the illusion that in the exchange, the instrument of exchange has worth. Huh? When it doesn't have any worth, it may be not even a bit of paper, it may be an impulse between two computers, an electronic signal of numbers. And on this system, all of us are enmeshed, but we are enmeshed not in a wrong transaction like the man who becomes drunk or who goes to the brothel. We're enmeshed in an idea of existence which is a lie, because the name of the thing is not what it is. So that you see, suddenly we learn that a man in a bank overnight has lost so many $1 billion. And the man is arrested and he's put in prison. He said he lost the shareholders so many $1 billion. Now, this is, and nobody questions it. Everyone waits to see of the judgment of the court how long he will spend in prison. Now, these billions of dollars, this means that on Monday they were there, and on Wednesday they were no longer there. Where did they go? Were they there in the bank? And did they all catch fire and burn? That's not what happened. They were there, and then they were not there. But if they were not there on the Wednesday, and they didn't go anywhere, then we have to assume they weren't there on the Monday. Which means that everybody was not only believing that that was a real transaction, but that this man, for having actually perpetrated the vanishing of this, had to be punished. Because why was he to be punished? Because he was revealing the secret of the deception. So when the bankers in the United States said, we have lost so many billion, before anyone could react, they said, now, if we don't get working again, you're all going to be out of work and you're all going to be starving, so you must give us money, the politicians must give us money to start it all up again. Within the shortest time, they were awarding to their own leadership more benefit awards of millions of this money. And again, the people accepted it. Why? Why did they accept it? Because it was not don't you understand, this was not a moral issue. This was not about the good and the bad. This was not that they were criminals. This was about a deception. And that deception is like the deception on which Pharaoh in the Quran governed and empowered himself over the people of Egypt by illusion. Now, what is interesting is, to break this illusion, it is not a matter of reason. Because the strange thing is, if you sit down with the banker and go over this, he will admit, of course there's nothing there. But he'll say, but it's the reality, and what can you do? You have to live with it. But he says you have to accept the lie in order that everything should go on. This, therefore, is a sickness. This is the sickness of man who has believed a lie about existence, because he has said something, has a name that does not belong to it, which is a name that belongs to Allah, which is power, qudra. So this has power over all men because they have made it into a deity. To be free of it, only people who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can put this right. It's not a mathematical problem. It's not a moral problem, which the modernists say it is, you see, because they want to rearrange it so that they think they'll be fair with the money. It is a problem of the absence of Tawheed. And only a people who say that Allah is one and nothing is associated with him, who will then say that the one who taught us this also said that there must be no increase in the exchange. When I arrange the deal with the man next to me, in that exchange there can be no increase, because the stuff of the world is limited. So you cannot have an increase every time you make an exchange. Otherwise, you will enter into the realm of a fantasy profit, which you have no right to. That's why Imam Malik radiallahu anhu said, there must be no usury even to a blade of grass. Now, this is the issue in which Allah has put you into the world. For the future of your life, this is what you have to deal with. There cannot be life for the human being, for the planet, and for this quality that Allah has put among men and women in life. It cannot survive until you break with this. It's not about greed. It's not, you see, I thought when I became Sufi that ilm nafs was about the greed and passion and anger and the emotions. It is not about that. It is about this terrible illusion that man will accept this lie if it allows him to have the illusion of power. So that now people who have absolutely nothing, but by this magic of their numbers, a handful of people control all the wealth of the world, from China to Africa to America. But this can only be freed by the people who worship Allah, who obey Allah, and who realize that the Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made strict rules about every single exchange. Islam has no politics, no presidents, kings, anything. It doesn't matter what the politics is. Islam is Sharia. People in Nigeria kill each other, say we want the Sharia. What do they mean by the Sharia? Sharia is not a term used by our fuqaha. It's fiqh. It's every detail of every exchange must be clean and free of usury. That's what the Sharia is. Sharia is not a term. Sharia is a political term like democracy that people wave about. Ulama and fuqaha don't use this language. It's the transaction. And now you have ulama issuing halal certificates to say some food is halal, which is another shirk with Allah, that they will say to you what is halal. Allah has told us what is halal and what is haram, and we don't need anyone to tell us. My second sheikh, Shaykh al-Faituri, said, what is all this fuss about the halal? He said, my cat knows what is halal. If I give it meat in front of me, it'll eat it in front of me. If he steals the meat, he takes it round the corner. So the cat knows what is halal and what is haram. But this is the world we've come into, where our ulama, so-called ulama, are frivolous. Why are they frivolous? Because their money is frivolous. And that's why they take money to issue certificates to say this is halal or not halal. We know what is halal. Allah has told us in the Quran what we can eat and what we cannot eat. Finish. If you're not intelligent enough to know that, don't touch it. Now, you have a responsibility in your lifetime. So if you're 15 or 50, you have a responsibility. You cannot continue with the illusion that the money has power. When I was a youth, nobody knew what went on in the stock exchange. Catherine Graham in the 50s, who is from one of these banking families, who was the editor of the Washington Post, one day put on the back page all the results of the stock exchange. Nobody knew what it was. And then day by day, it was more and more, and people were then told, you should get some shares, you should buy some shares. And they were slowly in 50 years, enmeshed into, deeper into this illusion of a world web of money, which continued so successfully that in the last 10 years they were able to speak realistically about what they called globalization. This is the world you live in, but you are responsible. You are responsible. This is not words. Our people here are producing gold dinar and silver dirhams and will make flus. Our people in Malaysia and Sheikh Omar Ibrahim Vadilio is making gold dinars and silver dirhams, and they are issuing it to the people under the authority of the government of Kelantan, so that it's legal tender even inside the disaster of the Kafir government of Malaysia. This is the situation we're in. Our Amir from Granada met with the king of Morocco and gave him the dinar. It was given first to his father, and King Hassan, Rahimallah, took it and said, this is the money of the Muslims. And he then said, on the spot, I will set up a group of ulama to put into practice the collection of zakat by the gold and the silver. But he died, and the bankers moved in and silenced everything. Now, they didn't silence a fantasy or some romantic religious idea. They knew this was the end of their game. The end of the game is the use of real money, or in the exchange, or the exchange by commodities, and eliminating this dimension, which in itself is based on there being no trust. With the real money comes also trust, hand to hand. That trust between people. They have replaced trust with the letter of credit. But the letter of credit has to come from the other side of the world to be okayed by the bank. In other words, inside the system. This is what you've inherited. And nothing you do will have any success, and nothing you do can be anything but bring suffering, grief, tragedy to your people if you do not embody this. This is an age where we are finding out people are committing suicide because they couldn't pay the bill. So they're committing suicide about something that isn't there in the first place. Now, if that is not sickness, you tell me what is sickness. But we already know, we all among us know people who have ended their lives because they couldn't deal with it anymore. But it's not that they couldn't deal with debt. They couldn't deal with the fiction that told them that there was no way out. So in doing our dhikr tonight, we must realize that it is this iman and this light and this force and this power of worshipping Allah and praising Allah and honoring and raising up Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that will be the solution to the whole world's problems and the survival of the world, the survival of the planet and its oceans and its land, let alone the people of Syria, let alone the people of Arabia, who have forgotten what reality is because they have sold out completely. Because the power is with this system, and so calling someone a king here and a president there doesn't mean anything unless he has power borrowed from Allah, used according to what Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what the Book of Allah have permitted. Then you will have a new situation. It's all possible because they have nothing except the continuing of making you believe in this fiction. And your cure is in the dhikr of Allah because it will clarify your intellect and it will purify your heart until you have to realize that in the exchange, there must be an exchange with instruments that are what they say they are and not what they pretend to be. You see. At the minute, the people of Europe are in the streets in chaos. On the next to them is Turkey, who think we're all right because we're making money. They're not making money because tomorrow they will be in a bigger situation, and Turkey will suddenly find it gobbled up by the forces from the east. Nobody is safe while they're inside this situation. And no system can run until power goes back not to committees and presidents and so-called democracy, representative government, until power is vested in a man. Then you can trust this man. Not only that, because we know his family. It is no longer election by numbers, the idiots that we have now as presidents all over the world. Rubbish. But a king is not a king because he has a crown, it's because his father and his grandfather, we know who he is. And if he's not up to the mark, people will chuck him out anyway. We do not believe in absolute kings, we believe in men who take counsel. Sultan Hamid Rahimullah changed his wazir and changed his wazir and changed his wazir till he got things done the way he knew had to be done. And that's why when he died, they had nothing they could do. The people loved him, and they were thronging in the streets at his funeral because they loved him, because he'd been true to what he believed. This is your inheritance, and what you do with it is written for you, and what you do with it will mark you as mu'minun, strong mu'minun, and inshallah by that your families will be safe, and you will have a future which will be full of luminosity in a world that is becoming increasingly dark. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al mursalin. Thank you very much.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله نور السماوات والأرض، مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح، المصباح في زجاجة، الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة، زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية، يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار، نور على نور، يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء، ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس، والله بكل شيء عليم. في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه، يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة، يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار ليجزيهم الله أحسن ما عملوا ويزيدهم من فضله، والله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. آمنت بالله، صدق الله مولانا العظيم.
Allah make all of you a people whose hidden dominates what is seen of them in this world. Make you people who believe in the unseen, who believe in the unseen, who believe in the books and the angels and the messengers, and who believe that the destiny has been decreed and is established. Make you people who live in the knowledge that the unseen dominates the seen, and that by what's in your heart, you will have success. Whatever comes into your heart will appear in front of you in the creation. And you must expect it and not be surprised if you find that what you desired was not good, and it still will appear in front of you. So have a good intention and have a good path that you want the best. Look after yourselves, and the people around you will be safe. Make yourself safe, and the people around you will be safe. You can't help anybody. You can't do anything for anybody. Whether it's your wife, your child, whether it's the husband, you can't do anything for anyone. You can only be sure that you're fulfilling your contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do that, all the people around you will be safe. No neighbor is safe if the one next to them is not such a person. You must be these people, and you are the cream of the earth. You are the best of people, And from you, this light will spread not only over Africa, it will go into the heartland of China and to the depths of the American savannas. Allah give you success, Allah give you increase, and Allah give you forgiveness for your enemies so that you are triumphant over them. And Allah give you the company of the people of Allah. Allah keep you always in the company of the people of Allah. Allah keep you safe by the company of the people of Allah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give big barakah on this mosque, big barakah on the Muslims of Cape Town, and protection for the people of Cape Town in the coming anarchy. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Fatiha. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.